If you would ask the Russian politician or people, most of the people will tell you that Russia never went to war with anybody. It was always somebody who was attacking Russia, and they was always defending. This is how they become the biggest land in the world, they was always defending. No, if you look at how they are taught their children, how they are taught in their kitchen, they absolutely believe this stuff that they never attacked anybody.
各位朋友们，大家好，安安大家好，我是苏泰，欢迎收看这一期的节目。今天我们来聊一下立陶宛的民主转型，以及苏共怎么迫害立陶宛。但是我们在进入今天话题之前，我要非常感谢不当党产处理委员会赞助这一系列的影片。有你们的帮助，我才有办法到立陶宛，在这里跟各位台湾朋友们做分享。那今天我们来聊一下关于立陶宛在经历苏共将近50年的占领，终于在1990年3月重新建立独立国家立陶宛共和国。在那之后，第一个遇到的挑战就是民主转型。在苏共统治时期，立陶宛人民的财产遭受到严重的剥夺，而苏共呢，它多年来采取了多种手段去剥夺立陶宛人民的财产，其中有包含哪一些呢？第一个就是土地征收。苏联当局在立陶宛实行了集体化农业政策，导致大量的土地都被征用。那在这对立陶宛的农民造成了一个非常严重的经济损失嘛，因为你本来有土地，然后它突然间变成国家的了。那第二个就是国有化。苏联当局在立陶宛实行了国有化政策，把大量的工厂、企业、还有银行跟贸易公司都收归国有，这对私人企业家和投资者造成了非常大的损失跟压力。那第三就是直接没收，在苏联统治时期，政治反对者和犯罪分子的财产会被没收。然而，苏联当局他们经常滥用权力，他们将政治意见者跟反对派成员的财产非法没收，这对当事人跟他们的家庭成员造成了巨大的损失。基于以上的破坏，立陶宛重新独立之后，所有的法律制度、市场经济都需要重新建立嘛。那因为共产体制跟民主体制的基础是完全不同的。今年我有邀请立陶宛的国会议员 Matas 来跟我们分享立陶宛的民主转型的过程，以及立陶宛重新建立社会体制他们所面临的挑战，以及怎么解决这些挑战。So as I told you before, we're doing videos about the democratic transformation of Lithuania and about the transferring of ill-gotten party assets of the Communist Party back to the Lithuanian people. And can you, because Lithuania and Taiwan experienced the democratization during the same time frame, right? Late 80s, early 90s. And the experiences probably are to a certain extent similar. Yeah. What do you think Lithuanian people and Taiwanese can learn from each other?
Taking the Lithuanian perspective, what happened with our assets coming back to people, most of the people have some kind of documents, some kind of information about before nationalization of their land. Mostly it was about the land of nationalized when communists came. So most of the people have that, and they just showed that to the government, and government gave it back. It was pretty easy for those who have in some kind of archives or something like that. So most of the land for Lithuanians is already restituted to Lithuanian people. More of a problem was, with the Polish minority, we have a little problem there. But more or less, the case is close in that. We've done that.
And going back to the ill-gotten party assets, you said that if a Lithuanian person used to own a land, you just go to the government and take the land back. Something would be provided, right?
Of course.
But there are some assets, probably there won't be much problems with the property of the Catholic Church, because there are also documents and... But there were some, for example, the former KGB prison, like that building. It used to be like during the Russian Empire times, then it used to be a prison, then when Poland occupied Vilnius, it also used to be a prison and a court, and then by the Soviets. How were those buildings that could not be when the ownership could not be traced by a certain, for example, Lithuanian family or Lithuanian business, how were these assets transferred to the Lithuanian people?
In most cases, it was transferred because some relative was found, and it was easier. And it was, if you can't transfer the house because somebody lives there or some institution, so it was always the restitutional thing. It was always the compensation, monetary compensation for the people to because we wanted to close this chapter because it had to be done from a justice point of view. Those people have to get decent compensation for their for the things they had earlier, that is their law and right to have the things that their grandparents owned. It's how you respect your people.
Yeah. So probably from the government point of view, there has been a committee that was responsible for the transfer of those assets, right?
Yeah, we had institution who was looking for this time. It was with the land, it was longer period, but with the building, things like that, it was much easier. It was sum of compensation, and you had a time period to come forward to show the documents, to show the archives, or something that you owned that, and it was just compensated.
And how soon after Lithuania got its independence back was this institution established?
Oh, very fast, in a few years period. We understand that, we want to be a part of Western society that is with the rule of law and things like that. And it was like, we wanted to go to European Union, to NATO, and from there it also was said, okay, if you want to build a society that is just, that is based on rule of law, you have to, this is one of the issues, you have to deal with that. You have to deal with history, what had happened. And to deal with the history, that means just compensation for the people that was, taken out, that they got to the Siberia and things like that. Yeah. We paid for that. We then asked the restitution from the Russia, because Russia now is the owner of Soviet Union rights. They declared for themselves. So we asked from them to compensate some part, because in most cases they was the beneficiary for that. But it's a question of governments between us and Russians. We also, when we are talking with our people, it had to be in a few years period it was done.
And did Russia provide any compensations to Lithuania?
No, of course no.
So there is another thing.
Because they would have to admit that they did wrong.
And apologize.
And apologize. So of course they were, from their point of view, it was, they live in an alternative history, like Russia never annexed Lithuania, it was, just, and things like that. It's crazy stories. When you are listening, you understand it's crazy. They have to, in history, if you look at how Russians look at themselves in history, if you would ask the Russian politician or people, most of the people will tell you that Russia never went to war with anybody. It was always somebody who was attacking Russia, and they was always defending. This is how they become the biggest land in the world, they was always defending. No. If you look at how they are taught their children, how they are taught in their kitchen, they absolutely believe this stuff, that they never attacked anybody. This is the biggest paradox. If you are talking about Poland, but Germany attacked them, and we just, went for the help. And things like that.
And occupied half of the country.
And occupied half of it. It's always like this. They always find the adjustment for what they did. They never can sit with themselves and say, look, we might be a little bit, just a little bit wrong somewhere. No.
Oh my God.
Now they are just trying to make Ukrainian free. Now they are not occupying Ukraine. We are not trying to occupy Ukraine.
Free from Ukrainians.
They are not trying to take Ukraine. They just want to get rid of United States in Ukraine. This is always some adjustment for them. It's not a problem that Ukrainians are fighting them and they are killing Ukrainians. They are always find the jest that they are good side. This is this is very big problem for the neighbor when you have neighbor like this. If your neighbor always thinks that they adjust and do anything what they want with your flat, with your it's you can imagine it's a big problem.
This is so similar to the Chinese propaganda.
Exactly.
They also say that we have never attacked anyone in all of our 5,000-year history. We have never attacked anyone.
Exactly.
Never, ever. And right now China is like, in terms of area, it's like number 4 or number 5 in the world. And even like the 20th century, they have attacked Vietnam.
Exactly.
The Korean War, it was started by Kim Il-sung and Mao Zedong together. Then they have occupied Tibet. What are they doing to the Uyghur people? They have attacked India many times, not a single time.
Exactly.
They even attacked the Soviet Union.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
This is
so, and this is how they think. And if to deal with that, you have to, to deal with this mentality. You can't talk just, look at the facts and history. No, that doesn't work with those guys. This is what we're dealing with, and this can. You can break this thing only by, the system have to collapse from the inside.
那下一节我会跟曾经来过台湾的国会议员Dovilė Šakalienė一起讨论立陶宛的民主转型以及不当党产转移。非常感谢各位的观看，如果喜欢这种内容的影片，记得按赞、订阅跟留言。想赞助的话，在这里跟影片下面会有 Patron 跟应援科技这2个网站的连接。我是斯坦，我们下次见，再会啦。